Now we're going to get to the NFC North and the Chicago Bears. Sorry to keep you waiting, but they won't be waiting Thursday. They're going first. They'll be fine. Looking at, obviously I could just say, oh, Caleb Williams, send him there, and that's it. Well, we already know that's happening. That's no fun. There's a lot of debate about this 9th overall pick right now. Is it a receiver? Could it be an offensive lineman? Could it even, could it be a defensive player, a D lineman? I even think Cooper DeJean is kind of a sleeper pick there as somebody who would fit their defense. But the guy I'm going with is Jared Verse out of Florida State. If they took him 9th overall, I think it'd make perfect sense. I think he's a better fit for their defense even than Dallas Turner or Leatu Latu. All right. Now, he's the premier, just classic defensive end in this draft. And those are the types of guys that Matt Eberflus uses in his defense. He doesn't use stand-up guys and outside linebackers and things like that. He wants true three-point stance, wide 9 defensive ends. 91.4 pass rush grade from a three-point stance over the last 2 years for Jared Verse. That's actually better than Leatu Latu. And in the class, it only trails Chop Robinson. So, Verse, I just think, I think the 3 guys at the top are incredibly close in talent when you talk about Verse and Turner and Latu. I know we like Latu the best overall, but I think as a fit for the Bears defense, if they were going to take a defensive player at number 9, I would take Jared Verse out of Florida State.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I think it'd be a good fit as well. So you would take him over Latu just for the Bears at 9 then?
For them, yes. If I was Atlanta, right, one spot ahead of them, I would take Latu. I think that fits Raheem Morris's defense. Now, Latu can do both. I won't lie to you. He can go down or up or whichever way, but I think Latu's versatility and his ability to stand up and even drop back in coverage fits Raheem Morris's defense better. In Eberflus's defense, he wants just wide 9 classic defensive ends. Jared Verse is actually the premier player from that standpoint in this draft. They're very close. Like talent wise, if you told me one or the other was better 5 years from now, I wouldn't be shocked. Just for the style of it, though, I like Verse better for the Bears than the other 2.
Interesting. I actually have a buddy who lives out here in Cincinnati, Kyle, who big Bears fan, and he would love. He is pleading for the Bears to take Latu at number 9, but I think he also said Versus would be a great fit for them as well at number 9, so that would be a really good fit as well. All right, Detroit Lions here. Another buddy of mine, PJ, who works for the Lions, who Dalton you're very familiar with, as you guys are basically the same person, both being Mets and Jets fans who are very depressed about both your teams. But Khalid McKinstry here, I'm going for the Lions. I think this would be a home run pick for the Lions. Use some help in that secondary. I know they kind of filled out that cornerback room already very well, but I don't know if there are really long-term answers there. So if I'm the Lions, I think that adding another corner at the end of the first round would be a really good way for them to do that. And I think the Lions, Aaron Glenn runs a defense that's kind of in the middle of the pack for both man and zone coverage. So they run kind of a lot of the both. And I think Khalid McKinstry kind of fits that. I mean, he's a very versatile corner, high IQ, plays really well in press coverage, but can also, with his IQ, play really well in a zone defense as well. And he also, I think he's the best corner in this year's draft. He's an above average athlete. He's not an elite athlete, but he has been the best corner in college football maybe for the last 2 years now. I think he's probably going to end up being a late first-round pick. And I know the Lions could also go receiver, and I would not hate that at all at the end of the first round. But I also love the fit of Khalid McKinstry in Aaron Glenn's defense. I think that'd be a really, really fun fit for them. And adding another Alabama defensive back to that room after taking Brian Branch last year. So I think that'd be a really, really fun fit in that defense for them.
I'm with you. I think McKinstry would be a home run pick for them. And then if you look at how they revamped their corner room, they already had Brian Branch, but now they've got Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, and then if they had Kool-Aid McKinstry, that went from a weakness to a loaded group really quick if you add that in there. I'm with you. I think McKinstry, I didn't have him as CB1, but I definitely get the argument. He's maybe the most technically sound corner in the class, and the Lions want to play him a lot of man coverage. That's a great fit. If he falls that far, they really need to think about it. Look, we're sitting on corners apparently today. I'm going to go with another one to Minnesota. Look, they hit on a good young corner in Mekhi Blackmon last year. Give me another one in Renardo Green from Florida State. I got too excited about the Florida State defense. 88 man coverage grade last year. Look, he was asked to do a lot, and all those Florida State guys were asked to do a lot between the quarterback getting hurt and just constantly playing press man coverage. Renardo Green might be the sleeper corner in this draft past round 1. He's really sound, really good in press. And, you think about what Brian Flores wants to do. He wants a zero blitz, man. He zero blitzes more than anybody. Press man, getting after it, putting pressure on the quarterback. Renardo Green would be just a perfect fit. Now, they don't pick after the 23rd pick again until the 4th round. They may have to move up to get him because I think you know what? If you took Renardo Green in the late second round, I wouldn't even blame you. I think he's that good. And I think one of the stories, I believe there was 7 Florida State defenders at the Combine, and you're about to find out how good all these guys are with how high they get drafted. They had a top 5 defense in college football last year, and all that talent's coming out. Renardo Green is one of the most talented guys from that group.
Yeah, absolutely is, man. And yeah, it's just another reason why it was such BS that Florida State was left out of that playoff, because that defense could have competed with anyone out there, man. It's, oh God, I'll never get over that. But dude, Renardo Green. So I'm looking at the consensus board, and I think the consensus board is a really good way to look at around, you know, where a guy's probably gonna get drafted, because it's shown before that it has some really high predictive power in terms of where guys actually go in the draft. So looking at the consensus board, he's 110 on the consensus board right now, which would be a 4th round pick. So Minnesota actually is right around there. They have the number 108 overall pick. So they get Renardo Green at 108 overall in the 4th round, dude. I mean, you, again, kind of break some news here on the show. You and I will be on the draft show for day 3 for PFF. I think you and I will both explode if Minnesota gets him at 108 overall, man. I think that's
I would be shocked if he's on the board when we start day 3. That I don't know where that's coming from. That makes no sense to me. That Green's outside the top 100 makes no sense to me at all.
I know. That's where he is right now, though, according to all the big boards, all the mock drafts that everyone's put together right now. So, yeah, he's 110 right now. So there's a chance that he's available in the 4th round, man, when you and I are on the show. And I think that'd be, like I said, that'd be a home run pick for Brian Flores in that defense. All right, I'll round out the NFC North with the Green Bay Packers, who it's always weird. You know, Trevor Sikkema and Connor Rogers actually make the joke all the time on NFL Stock Exchange podcast, which is PFF's NFL Draft podcast. I think it's the best out there. Go check it out if you haven't already. But they always make the joke that Packers are so hard to predict for, man, because it's just like so many ways you can go for them in the 1st round. I kind of like the idea of taking Graham Barton, the offensive lineman, really, from Duke, and just kind of having him as a guy that could play anywhere on the offensive line. Because right now they could use some help at tackle with Rasheed Walker, their left tackle, the former Penn State tackle, who honestly wasn't even that great at Penn State either. So I don't love him starting as a left tackle in the NFL. But after that, you got, you know, Sean Ryan at right guard, Josh Myers at center. Elton Jenkins, who I really like at left guard. But I think Graham Barnes is one of those guys that can just use help on the offensive line anywhere. And I think he's a guy who could play anywhere on the offensive line. So I think them at 25 overall, this would be a really, really good pick for them as a guy who just is so versatile on that offensive line. He could play tackle, he could play guard, and he played center originally at Duke. I think that's a guy that you just want to get in your building and just could kind of fill in anywhere you need him to. I think that'd be a really valuable pick for the Packers there in the 1st round.
Yeah, I think you said it right, too. And I think the thing with Barton, you know, watching all these offensive linemen, I think he's the only offensive lineman in this whole draft who could play all 5 positions. And I think that means something. If he was your left tackle down the road, if he was your right guard, if he was your center, I think he would excel anywhere at any of the 5 positions. There's certain guys who could play 2 or 3, but none of them as versatile as Barton. I think that would be a good pick just to kind of slide him in wherever they need him. But